Hey guys, welcome back to Based MMA. I'm here to talk about Logan Paul versus Dillon Danis, which was an absolute embarrassment, guys. This fight was absolutely terrible. I just got done watching the KSI versus Tommy Fury fight, which I thought was going to be a lot better than the Logan Paul versus Dillon Danis, but it turned out to be a lot worse somehow than the Logan Paul versus Dillon Danis, man. Who cares who won that KSI versus Tommy Fury fight? They both looked awful. It was just a bunch of hugging. I mean, to me, there was no definitive winner. I don't really know who won after the third, fourth round. I stopped watching it, to be totally honest, and I put on UFC. And I want to apologize to the UFC because I probably should have been watching UFC instead of this clown show, man. But I think Dillon Danis and Logan Paul, credit to them, they did a great job of marketing this fight, and I think we got scammed. We got scammed. We shouldn't have been watching that trash, that travesty. And what was Dillon Danis's game plan going into that boxing fight with Logan Paul? Because all he was doing is he only had his hands up and wasn't throwing any punches, and Logan Paul was throwing investment shots to the body. But Logan Paul doesn't really hit any, like, he doesn't really hit hard. I guess he has pillow fist because I felt like all the pressure was on Logan Paul because he's the boxer. He's been doing boxing for a couple of years. He's the bigger guy. We all knew, especially us that were in the MMA community, we all knew that Dillon Danis had no hands. So I kind of expected Logan Paul to knock him out, at least later in the fight. But he didn't. He absolutely sucks, man. He absolutely sucks. And I know a lot of you guys are mad at Dillon Danis because you guys expected more from him. But I personally didn't expect anything from him. I knew that this guy was just, he was just there to be entertaining. He was just there to get the bag. And, there was a reason why we didn't see any of his boxing prior to this fight. And I knew he was going to do a bunch of crazy shit, like, attempt a takedown and do all that crazy shit that he ended up doing. But it was embarrassing, man. It was embarrassing because he didn't throw any punches, which just lets you know that the guy just didn't want to take any risk. For him, a win was not getting knocked out. A win for him was not becoming a meme. And that's something that I said prior to this prime card, that I felt like, okay, if this fight goes to a decision, like, it's a loss for Logan Paul because, I feel like all the pressure's on him. He's a boxer, and I feel like he's a huge favorite, and he should knock out Dillon Danis. Like, he should have knocked out Dillon Danis, but he's not that good. They're both terrible boxers, and I feel bad that I watched it. It was one of the worst displays of boxing. And okay, I get it. We didn't even go into the card expecting decent boxing, but it wasn't even entertaining. Like, where was the entertainment? Like, that Saul Poppy versus Slim fight was a little bit more entertaining, man. But what was Dillon Danis thinking, man? And after all that trash talk, and then he goes out and fights like that. Like, it's terrible, man, because he didn't even risk it. Like, he didn't even try to win. Like, yeah, at least if you try to win, okay, if you lose, okay, at least Dillon Danis showed up and he tried to win the boxing fight. At least he tried. He put a scrap. It was a war. Even though Logan Paul might have won the rounds, Dillon Danis had moments. But he truly didn't have any moments because all he did was and just showboating. And it was absolutely terrible, man. It was absolutely terrible. And Logan Paul, he gives that speech after winning the fight, which was actually pretty embarrassing, man, and pretty ironic because he's a devil himself, man. He scammed a lot of people with his crypto scam, but just an just embarrassment. Honestly, I can't believe that I watched it. I can't believe that I, wasn't watching the UFC and I was watching this prime card that was absolute shit. I'm never gonna watch any of these boxing events ever again. I'm never gonna watch it ever again, guys. I promise you. I'm never going to cover this ever again. But man, Dillon Danis, he was awful, man. He was awful. But to be totally honest with you guys, I expected him to be that bad. I really did expect him to be that bad. I just expected Logan Paul to actually finish him. I thought, okay, he's bigger. He's actually, I don't want to say decent boxer, but at least he can box in the YouTube space, if you know what I mean. At least he's going to be a lot stronger. He's going to put in the work more than Dillon Danis, especially after Dillon Danis attacked his fiance for months on Twitter. I just thought, Logan Paul was going to have that venom going into the fight. And he looked like he was just happy to win a decision. It was embarrassing, man. It was just embarrassing. And then Dillon Danis with all the fiasco, and he was trying to punch Logan Paul's security. It was absolutely terrible, man. And it's just a disgrace that we even watch this. And imagine the people that don't watch MMA and all they do is watch boxing. I feel for you guys, man. It's absolutely terrible. This is why I don't watch boxing, because it's absolutely terrible. It's just a bunch of hugging. And, they don't put it on the line like these UFC fighters, We do have some stinkers here in the UFC as well. We got Izzy versus Yoel Romero. We got Carlos Parza versus Rose Namajunas too. So we've had a couple stinkers in MMA. But man, that was awful, man. That was awful. And like I said, it's not even that the boxing was terrible. It wasn't even entertaining, man. It wasn't even entertaining. I don't know what I would just watch. I seriously don't know what I just watched. It was absolutely terrible. And I never want to hear from Dillon Danis ever again, man. This guy better get zero attention. Zero attention. Like, this guy needs to go back to Bellator or PFL and, build his career in MMA. But in terms of being a superstar and getting these big, massive fights, no. It's over. It's over for Dillon Danis. It's over for Dillon Danis. And it should be over for Logan Paul. But at least Logan Paul, he has WWE. He's successful doing WWE. And he still won the fight pretty decisively. It's not like it was a competitive fight or whatsoever. So for me, I still feel like Logan Paul, lost because he didn't knock out Dillon Danis. But at the end of the day, he won the fight with his boxing technique. But it was absolutely terrible, guys. I can't believe I spent my time watching this crap. It was terrible. I'm never going to watch this shit ever again. And let's talk a little bit about the KSI versus Tommy Fury fight, because I know a lot of people on Twitter are like, KSI won. Oh my God, robbery. Bro, if you're 30 years old, if you're over the age of 18 and you're a KSI fan and you have a KSI account, you're an embarrassment to humanity. You need to rethink your life. You're seriously an embarrassment to life. Like, what are you doing with your life if you're a KSI fan? And there's people arguing, oh my God, KSI robbery, this is the biggest robbery in sports history. Oh, bro, that fight was pathetic, man. You should be pissed that you even watched that and you even spend your Saturday afternoon or night, wherever you are in the world, watching that piece of crap, because it was absolutely terrible. And honestly, you know what I thought was going to happen when that fight ended? I thought they were going to give the decision to KSI. I was like, it's his card. None of these guys look good. I didn't see a definitive winner. I was like, okay, honestly, you might justify giving a draw for once in boxing. But it was terrible, man. I'm kind of glad that they gave it to Tommy Fury, because at least this shit show is over. And at the end of the day, I wanted to see KSI lose. But like I said, you don't even care after watching that fight, man, and just a bunch of hugging, and you don't even care who wins. You honestly don't care who wins. And I have a really bad taste in my mouth, and I'm about to go start watching UFC now and watch this card, which not the best UFC fight night card, but at least there's some decent fights. We got Cameron Simon, we got Adrian Giannis versus Jonathan Martinez, guys. That's at least going to be a little bit more entertaining than whatever shit show we just watched, guys. But anyway, I just had to cover this. This is the last time I'm covering this prime boxing shit. It was absolutely terrible, guys. It's time to watch UFC, and it's time to get ready for UFC 294, guys. So please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.